Hey guys, I'm going to talk to you about the most recent Game of Thrones episode. It's called The Door. Some big things happen at the end of it. That's what I'm going to talk about. So if you haven't seen it, this is your spoiler warning. You might want to go check it out and then come back. I want to talk about the Night King, not Night's King. Or at least that's what Bran said, or the Three-Eyed Raven said this week. The Night King returned in a big way this week. We learned there was a revelation about how we learned the Children of the Forest actually created the White Walkers as to use as weapons against the First Men and all the people they were fighting way back in the ancient times. But that wasn't the big revelation I wanted to talk about this week. I wanted to talk about Hodor and how he came to have his name. Now there was a prevailing theory that maybe Hodor maybe got kicked in the head by a horse. That horse was named Hodor, and that's why he kept saying it over and over again. But actually, Hodor turned out to be a shortened version of Hold the Door. There was a lot of stuff going on here. It was a big action set piece, the final 10 minutes, with the cave being invaded by the White Walkers and the Whites and the Night King. Bran being trapped in the dream, Mira trying to wake him up. She needed to get him out of there. A lot of things happening, a lot of action. But it was also that sort of time travel element that's been being teased with Bran's visions, where he can. It seemed like his father, like Ned, heard him in one of those travels back into the visions, and then the Night King actually was able to touch his arm and saw him in one of the visions. And then now we learned that him warging into Hodor, and Hodor holding that door and Mira telling him to hold the door, worked its way back in time. And that is why, so it's basically what Bran did in the future is why Hodor became the person he was, and why he sort of had a mental snap. He sort of had those spasms that fit, and he was never the same since. He was sort of simpleton, or not quite a simpleton, but he couldn't speak at least. He could only say Hodor after that incident, and that was basically because of that moment that we just watched tonight. So it all travels back in time, and this is how it gets into, can Bran actually affect the past, change the future? It's actually very interesting territory for Game of Thrones. But then I also wanted to address how sad that moment was. It was such a sad, powerful moment to lose Hodor like that, doing, of course, what he can do to save Bran, his hulking brute strength to hold that door as long as he can. We knew it wasn't going to hold, so it kind of got dragged out, which made it all the more sad. That combined with it being the specific reason why he was the way he was, made for a very cool, surprising, powerful, and sad ending to this week's Game of Thrones. So I really liked it. What did you guys think? You could read my written review on IGN.com, and stay tuned to IGN for all Game of Thrones news.